Sollte funktionieren. Hello, guys. Okay. Yeah, it'll probably take a couple of minutes until we set everything up, but yeah, we try our best.
Started the stream for you.
Sure. Okay. I think you are way quieter than Einstein yesterday, so I hope.
I can make myself louder as well.
But I can. The problem is I'm mostly too, like, my voice is not that loud, so I have to move the switches around that we are like on the same level a bit. But since I'm a pro, I know how to do that, right? So
Pro in something means pro in everything. That's how it works.
exactly, pro in everything.
That's my stream now as well.
Perfect. Okay,
Hey, this worked way faster than I thought. Let's go.
let's go. Meet the guys in the YouTube chat. Oi, oi, oi. As always. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Yeah, we're trying to set everything up, and we will probably start in a couple of minutes. What we will try to do is basically rewatch the stream a little bit from this year's Words, and then try to talk a bit about stuff that you probably haven't seen on the screen. If you have
Keyword
any
here is
questions.
try.
Yeah, we give it a try. Like, maybe it will be interesting, maybe not. I don't know. But I hope
think it
so.
will be interesting.
Yeah, I hope so.
We will just talk about how we ate every single time some American fast food.
I mean, did
Wait,
you eat fast
you
food
guys?
there? I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, the catering was so bad that we just ate at the restaurant every single night.
Okay, the other
Did
said the
you- did you-
catering was fine, so I don't know. We went.
What? No.
Did you have a different one, or you had the same one as we
I
did, right?
think we had the same, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, I don't really care that much. It was good enough for me, but yeah. Also,
I mean, I just remember.
yeah,
Did you hear the interview from Mohammed Light?
that he was hungry.
Yeah. I mean, he lost because the catering was so shit. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I think it's funny too, but I don't think it was too bad. But yeah, I guess so. If you can have something different, that's fine as well. I mean, for us,
Yeah,
it
there was
was
like
like,
this sports bar, which was really nice, like the burger and the fries. I mean, they were probably super unhealthy because the fries tasted insane, but I think they were triple or quadruple fried or something, so not really healthy, but they were nice.
yeah. I
So
know
yeah.
exactly what you mean. Everything you ate there was like, oh man, that tastes really nice. But if I ate like double of that or like two pieces, then I'm probably gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah, the fish was great. That's true. The fish was not bad.
The
Mm.
fish. What the heck?
Yeah, the fish in the catering was fine. What I thought was really weird, like coming from Europe, is that we had just like paper plates and plastic stuff over, and all threw them away all the time. I don't know. I think it's very weird.
Yeah. There's a different mindset now in Europe, I guess.
Yeah. But
By the
overall,
way, I have started sharing the
Oh yeah.
Stream, whatever.
Yeah, let me try
You
to
can.
set it up. I learned from Mebot how to do that, so I will try my best so everybody can see it as well. Okay. I want to have it on this one. Getting this one. Yes. And I want. Is it this one? It seems like it. Okay. 1 second, guys. Okay. This. Like this. It's all have to work like high life here, so I believe like my screen is not even the right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So we have this. We take it probably over here, so it's behind. Yeah. Okay. I see where the problem is right now. The format is different than my layout, so I probably will just put it right above everything else, make it the whole screen, and then put my face cam over it. If that works. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, let's try it like this. Okay. Okay, that's the wrong face.
Were you able to set up everything?
Yes, I believe so. Oh. Yeah, I think everybody should see everything right
What happens
now.
if I do this? Okay. What happens if I do this? Okay, that's just black. Okay, sorry, I'm stop trolling. I just want to see what happens if I minimize the browser.
All good, all good. Okay, the chat is also over there. Let's make it a bit smaller, I guess. Putting it to the bottom part. And what else do we need? I don't think we need anything else. Maybe this one we can also put above here. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Okay, I think that should work. Can everybody see the screen in chat? I hope so.
We can see if it works as well if I like running the clip. Like, is it lagging or something? Or does it work?
Let me see. I can just open YouTube on my phone and then probably see it after
On your phone?
my stream.
Oh yeah.
Just checking. But problem is like the yeah. Okay, it looks fine. Yeah, it looks professional like always. Obviously. Okay, nice. Perfect.
Since I have many questions and I see you in your chat as well, we're going to talk like related to Town Hall 18 about what we are hoping for and such, and not about when it's going to happen, what is going to be part of the update. If you're asking that, that is like complete time waste, literally.
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
yeah.
For sure. It's like more about the past, but I guess we can give an outlook in the end. Why not? If we have time, that should be.
Yeah, it's more like about what we're hoping for Town Hall 18, meta-wise, I don't know.
I mean,
feature-wise, mechanic-wise, I don't know.
We can
Game-wise.
hope a lot, but I don't think my hopes will come
Yeah.
true.
It's always two things, right?
Okay, I think we are good to go.
Good to go. Okay, let's skip forward then. The intro video always was really sick, to be honest. How much did you even like I don't know, see from the intro, from the backstage? Nothing really.
I mean, you would think that we don't see anything, but they have like a screen everywhere basically. In every corner backstage, there's a screen where you can watch. Even in the green room, when we prepare, we always have to tell them like turn the screen off when we are preparing for the war. So they have everything on all the time, so you can watch basically if you want. So yeah, but I don't think
Okay,
I
okay.
have really concentrated on it too much. Like, what's your opinion about the entrance like video that they filmed this year compared to last year, maybe?
Mm. You mean the interviews or the short clips, like you looking at the camera?
Yeah,
I think you
yes.
had the cooking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah. I like the intro videos a lot, to be honest. I think it was quite nice. I think overall, I mean, I don't know how much rehearsal you guys had, but considering we had literally zero rehearsal, it was quite nice. And the show went kind of good from our part, which means like from casters, from player side. But yeah,
yeah. Like for us, it's basically as well. We have like, okay, you have interviews and stuff tomorrow, and then you get into a room and they say like, okay, we're doing this here, and now do it. It's always like, yeah, we need like 3 or 4 poses from you. Now let's start. Who's the first one? And we're like, I don't know. I don't have one. Let me think about it. So yeah, always kind of a struggle to come up with something that's yeah a bit funny or unique. I don't know how to put it, but I think it turned out fine this year. Mm, I probably liked last year the most from all we did, just because it was like I don't know was very fitting with the screen moving apart, like we coming through the middle and it moved to the left and the right. I thought that was very nice and it fitted very well.
yeah. I mean, just the stage, as you said, was just peak last year. This
Yeah,
year it was more about um, having like a more, I don't know, classic game scum vibe, I guess, where there
mm,
is a couple of games in the big hall. So that is, I assume, more the style which was went for this time. It was overall really, I mean, not great that we started at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then the entire thing in Atlanta opened at 10 as well. So this is why in the background you see like no one sitting there. It's literally empty. But that was not because no one was interested at the like for the event. But by the way, this clip was so funny because this was one of my bases in Legends, and Mammoth attacked this, and he got baited so hard that I felt like, okay, we have to use this clip to kind of highlight the new spring traps. But you have to remove the names because I do not
yeah,
want to make fun of a pro.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But yeah, that was just so fun. I called it the Flutsch and Veck strategy,
yeah.
which is tornado into spring trap, and then the Roy champ is just gone.
Yeah. We had that one as well on one base where you put basically the NATO and all spring traps there, and if the RC comes by, then yeah, it's
It is
basically
coin
that's
flip,
all.
but if it works, it's the most fun thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's also like if you are test the bases and you have like if that's working, we will have so much fun, but it almost never would. But yeah, obviously, like you're talking, like you have to be there, like starting the entire thing where we are in the background doing basically nothing or waiting until it's time for us. So yeah, it's kind of weird that nobody's there at this stage. But that's kind of the fate of Clash of Clans coming in the front of Clash Royale all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that at the end of the day, every match, like as soon as the matches started, the players were there, the viewers were there.
Yeah,
I think originally it was planned to start even earlier with Clash of Clans. So that would have been
yeah,
awful, having like the first 2 hours of the show with no audience whatsoever. Just imagine that would have been so shit. So I'm happy that they, yeah, made that work. But what was surprising to me is just the amount of players. I always say players, but the amount of viewers which were there. That was a really big positive surprise because to me, the crowd I think was the best this year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure from a player experience how you experienced that.
Yeah, I think last year the stage was the best overall, as you said, but
Yeah.
for the amount of viewers we have, especially for Clash of Clans, the stage like this just makes more sense because it's like more centered at one point, and yeah, it doesn't feel like you have empty parts in the arena. So yeah, and for sure, like obviously with the tribe booth around, there was a lot of support. That's definitely something that stood out. Although I have to say, on day two, after the tribe matches were gone and the elevate matches, like we had the last match that day, and we did a really nice war against MMG, but there was like no crowd at all. I was at some point trying to hype up one defense, like there was not one cheer in the crowd. I believe. It was a very
Okay,
weird
yeah.
feeling, yeah. But overall, I have to say, like, especially the last day, it was a fire experience for sure.
Yeah, the last day was packed for sure. Just looking at the predictions again. Oh yeah, now you can see like this is now the moment where people were like
Yeah,
coming in slowly, especially those who were like sprinting in. Shout out to Beats and Shepard leading the charge.
yeah. That's yeah. I mean, I talked to my mom, which was also there. That yeah, when they got in at the last day, there was like all front rows were already like saved from other people, so you had like basically no chance for that. So it's yeah, kind of getting like the fan experience there. I mean, also like talking before the words, I was a bit worried that we have like yeah, it will be very empty, but yeah, as you said, it was not the case, and I was also very glad for that because it makes the whole thing more fun for everybody.
Yeah, as well like after the day, like with day 2 and 3, I have as well seen that some Clash Royale players went in like super early to save like the first row seats, like the Germans with their
Mm.
what is it with their towels.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know, like that was kind of mental.
Yeah, but also like Clash Royale crowd, I was like walking around one time, and it was like standing behind a couple of meters behind all these seats, so that was really crazy that they had like there was so much more interest there. It's also kind of nice to have the interest in general for our games.
I can speed this up a little bit. So
Yeah, I mean we can also skip through a little bit since we.
Banks now with the beatboxing either rapping.
I mean, I have to say, Banks does like a phenomenal job. I couldn't do what he is doing. Getting the best out of every player, which like the players are normally not like the ones to talk a lot in front of people. So I feel like he does a phenomenal job year in and year out.
Yeah, he's really good at that. I mean, just as well, like for us casters, it's always nice to have him just as a backbone of like safety as well on stage,
Mm,
and knowing that he's handling that so well. So yeah, makes it quite easy. And especially this year, it felt like really easy, like from the caster perspective, because we pretty much only had to do the commentating during the attacks, the matches itself. In
mm.
the breaks, it was mostly Banks doing interactions with streams, with you guys on stage, the interviews, as we see again, like your intro video there, which was really cool.
Yeah,
But
which
yeah,
was
like this
also
year from
wrongly
the
there.
caster perspective was really easy. Was it wrong?
Yeah, that was for the MMG
Oh
guys
god.
here. I mean that was the problem, right? We had like the media day one day before, and we finished like 6 p.m. or whatever, and it had to be finished like 10 a.m. the next day. So yeah, I believe that a couple of people had to put through or to work through the night to get everything done. At least it felt like
Yeah, it
that.
was as well just the rehearsals. I mean, I think for me, I had literally zero time sitting at the desk and rehearsing anything.
Mm, I see.
So I feel like players, and as well from the caster side, if you would have had anyone in that position who has never done it before, then we could have had actually some issues. I feel like the MMG guys had some as well. support, let's put it that way, from the other teams of like, hey, this is maybe what to expect or something. At least that's what I would assume, since they were like a newcomer team. But as from the caster perspective, if they would have had new casters, oof.
I guess so, yeah. Uh, yeah, I think that's the big problem also about it, that we had like only half a week this year instead of like a full, which we had the years before. I mean, we are not the ones to organize, but for the preparation wise, it's also very hard because normally you came like to everything, and then you had time to yeah, prepare as well, like change some stuff up. But this time we got there, we had the media day, and it started right away. If you haven't done your preparations beforehand, then you had no chance of finishing anything there, I feel like.
Actually, I have not even seen all of the crowd shots so far, so that's kind
Yeah,
of cool.
yeah, I also
But
like
I would say
to,
now,
sorry,
yeah, no, sorry.
watch the stream, just because yeah, you don't have time basically, to rewatch everything and to get to know everything, as well as I'm fiddling with my stream. I'm sorry, guys. I try my best. It's not too easy. Okay, now the quality is kind of bad because I had some issues with the stream from you. I think it was not as clean as I thought it would. Some moments. But yeah, sorry, you can keep talking.
Good or good?
Yeah.
Were you able to fix it?
I hope so. I hope so.
Nice. I've seen as well that Shepard is as well streaming. So if you want to have like a third point of view later on, we can as well get
Yeah,
him in.
sure. As more people talking about it, the more or the more perspectives we have, the more interesting it gets. So for sure, if he wants to join, yeah. As the first match starts there in the background.
Okay, now let's trash talk the base.
The bases. I mean, that was the first base we saw, and it was like immediately, no, that can't be the case. They just took the base which we used in August qualifier and rebuilt it. It was so funny. If you watch it the first day, you have this 6 o'clock compartment was from the base which did perfectly well in August qualifiers for us, and like every team on the first day had at least one base with this compartment. It's so funny.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that compartment as well in some of the DMAs, some of the tribe bases,
Yes.
I believe.
That was the base that defended the 1 star. We had the same compartment for us. The base that defended the 1 star was basically like Dima took the base from us, and like the whole far side was the same, and he took the town hall out of the core and put it like a bit more on the outside, and he basically finished the base. That's all he did there. It was very funny for me. But yeah, it kept working, so I guess the people made the right call for it. Nobody to blame there.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as something works, which means like a specific compartment, then you can just build around the rest, or at least try to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing which I'm always surprised when watching esports is now with having the experience on Legends, which I feel like most people have watching those competitions, because I think the majority of players are not playing esports mode or have even a clue of like how much more different or how much more difficult it is.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I was surprised by some of the attacks. How do we put it? Not optimal they are played, because after base builders sharing their traps and bases on social media, I was always like, how do they have trap stacks of like 2 giant bombs or something? Because if you do that in Legends, you're getting completely wrecked, because the invis timings are just so much better than Legends, which then is like, for me, questioning, are Worlds players actually that good? Or is it just that it's only this small bubble who are kind of competing versus each other? because I mean, you and me know, like if you want to take down a fox, you need way more, or you need bad invis timing from the attacker.
Yes.
So yeah, that was to me like one of the most surprising things because I feel like a lot of those traps in Legends would not work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't watched the traps from other teams, but I know what you're talking about. It's also like the critique I have on most pro teams all the time. As that most of the players don't seem to care about the base building. That's like my experience from the last 2 to 3 years. They are like glad if they have a base builder which they can push everything upon, and they are at fault if something doesn't work. But they really don't care to learn how traps and interactions really work on their defensive side, and they just like do it. And if it works one time in the preparation, then it's fine. But yeah, as you said, if you don't put a 50-50 split of your bombs, then the fox will always survive if it's played cleanly. And at words, you can't plan for an attack that is not played cleanly. Obviously, it happened a lot, or at least sometimes, but that's like not a good preparation in my mind. You have to prepare for the best possible attack, and if that doesn't defend, then the base is probably not good enough. So yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, again, if we just take a look at the stats, in reality, those bases a lot of times defend because you. I mean, I don't know. You could tell it better than what I can. You could like blame it on nerfs, on everything, especially on the first day. I feel like some of the teams were not really
yeah,
like,
for
getting
sure.
into it like on a good foot. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was, I don't know, the biggest surprise to me, especially afterwards where we saw traps and such. So yeah, that was surprising. So I just wanted to know what your input and your point of view on that is, because I know that the equipment difference, which like limiting them, makes obviously a big difference, especially on equipments like the what is the action figure, like the last
Yeah,
6 level or something, are obviously like a really big boost of power. And I think this, for example, could have 3-star from max here with a max action figure.
yeah.
But still, I feel like a lot of players in Legends are more clean, maybe with their execution sometimes. But yeah, that was to me the big surprise.
Yeah, that's a good question. I had never really thought about it like the good execution. I mean, in Legends, it also like there comes the aspect that you probably have seen the base before, or like most of the bases you
True.
faced. And in words, it's mostly like you try to have something new in your base. And even if there's like a little bit different, you have that sometimes, or I believe this year was especially big on this, that you could like attack a base and you knew how to attack it and you triple it. But if like some traps would be a bit different, or like some at least only defenses like move 2 spaces or whatever, it can totally fuck up your RC charge because it goes to a different direction, and every like follow interaction is way difficult or way different, I should say. And yeah, I feel like that also sometimes makes a huge impact. But yeah, looking from the attacks, I mean, yeah, that the first day was like that bad. I think it was more on the nerves. There was like really bad
Yeah.
execution. Especially, I mean, I haven't really watched the first war that much. For example, this one, like this attack is a big overkill in my opinion if he just tanks for his lock launcher, right? He places 2 Skelly spells. They had to tank for the monolith, but he puts them outside. So how should they be able to tank for the lock launcher if they are not onto the monolith there? I don't know. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, some silly mistakes, maybe planning wise as well. So yeah, especially when I think about it, like the Chinese match against Tribe was like really bad what they did. I feel like all these Smash plans could have tripled from them. They just played it like extraordinarily bad in my opinion. So yeah, I guess
Now
nerfs.
with the Chinese team, I got so angry. Like I think they had not too many attacks because they were somewhat quickly eliminated, right? But I
Yeah,
think I could at least remember on like 3, I think even 4 attacks where they literally did not 3-star because with their stupid smash attacks, they always use the Hog Rider puppet on the Royal Champion. And everything single time you would have thought, oh yeah, that's an easy triple until you get into the back-end compartment, the spectator checks the equipment, and you see, oh yeah, there's a Giga Bomb and there's a Hog Rider puppet. nope, this won't 3-star.
Yeah.
Just pick the freaking spear. What are you like? This is literally trolling. Isn't that intentionally losing or something? I don't know. I
No.
don't understand. Like every single time it happened so many times that they didn't 3-star because of
Yeah.
that. And I think they would have for sure gotten a couple of more rounds further because I was behind the scenes fanboying so much for their smash attacks because I think execution wise, they were so clean. Like the healer switches, the pathing with like the warden charge or like queen warden charge that typically did that, and then into the recall and such. That was always so well planned and executed compared to some of the more sloppy attacks on the other sides. But it did not work out in the end because of the freaking Royal Champion equipment decision, and I was so mad at some point.
But
That was really frustrating.
yeah, I get what you mean. Like, obviously, when I tried Smash first this year, I also played with the puppets, and I believe still that the Hawk puppet is not bad. But yeah, all my teammates always said like if you can't use the Hawk puppet, the spear is better, and I was like always I'm not so sure, I'm not so sure. But yeah, for this worlds, I also only prepped with the spear, and I believe Mammoth played the Hawk puppet as well in his first war in at the first day. So yeah, I don't know what like the thought behind it. For me, it's basically if you play the RC on the Smash, you mostly concentrate on your Smash and you play it like on the side. And you want to don't have like what happened to Gaku, then if the RC gets like in fire early because the skeleton spell is like unreliable tanking sometimes, then if you don't look at the RC, you don't want him to die immediately. And if you have the Hawk Puppet, he is basically like a hero ability which preserves him one time if he's in a lot of danger. That's the thing that I would come up if I say I prefer the Hawk Puppet over anything else. But if you play the attack cleanly from start to finish, then for sure the spear has like a lot more upsides than the Hawk Puppet overall. That's what I would
Yeah,
say.
I mean, especially where you have the freedom of like the flexibility of picking your strategy entirely, and you can plan out your attacks, and then seeing the Giga Bomb on the back end every single time, and still having the. I mean, we can just skip into one of those matches maybe.
I mean, yeah, it was for
Except there
sure
was something.
on day two against us. That was probably a match that the most people thought about it because it happened like 3 times against us when the Chinese
Yeah.
played.
So I
So
want to just quickly check the match versus Tribe.
yeah, we can also check that. But I feel like the match versus Stripe there was more like bad execution on their part also at the beginning of their smashes. At least that's how I felt. Like especially the one star was really bad played. Of Meow. Yeah, yeah, like you see the queen is stuck behind there.
But I actually consider that like, as I'm still trying to like find something more fun for Legends, because at this point I'm just getting so bored of like meta.
I can
Like
imagine.
it is either Royal Champion Charge Root Riders. If you want to feel some more pain, you're doing Royal Champion Charge Dragons, and otherwise you're doing Fireball Rocket Loons. I mean, that's
Yes.
pretty much it. So I just want to have some more flexibility or like some more, I don't know, the feeling of doing something more fresh. And this was for sure something which I was considering, but it feels more base dependent, I guess.
I think it is very good on a lot of bases, otherwise they wouldn't have performed that good. But I have to say, when I went into Worlds, obviously I also prepared Smash. And I was like, I also, funnily enough, like when we prepared bases, I was like doing this exact thing with the lock launcher to save like the jump spell because you don't need the jump spell if you use the lock launcher with the Yetis. And I was like, oh my god, they have thought of the same. How funny is it? But overall, Smash I felt like is more random, just on most bases. If you play it like this, or even on other bases, compared to Root Riders and the other attacks. On the other attacks, you can like plan from start to finish, and you know if you're tripling or not. And on Smash, if you don't have a good Warden Walk and a good Flame Flinger, then it's basically like a coin flip if you triple or not,
Mm.
even if you have good execution. That's what I felt in preparation. And for sure, what they are doing is like more consistent, and it worked pretty well. But I think for Legends, it's very hard because it's like a very strategic approach where you have to have a good plan to do it. I think you can do it on a lot of bases, but to come up with a plan in 30 seconds for that strategy seems kind of rough, I have to say, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah. And when I'm seeing this basically, I'm just getting angry. Like, how much flame flinging value do you want to give for free?
There was a lot of flame
It's
flingers. It's so crazy. Also against us in the first match against Carry, like they gave me a free flame flinger for the whole 6 o'clock compartment. The attack never triples if I don't have that flame flinger. But I was like, okay, if they give me the flame flinger, then I can play the attack. So not my problem.
yeah. And I feel like this base really kind of showcases as well what the current struggle is to defend against Royal Champion charges, because at some, like, you want to have buildings close to your defenses which are going down with the Electro Aura, because otherwise the Fox does not follow, right? So you cannot really trap the Fox. But at the same time, if you have a base like this where you literally have only defenses inside the base and no storages whatsoever, it feels like that, like, dragons are just going from defense to defense, and it just feels so free then to really like get good value overall.
These
So
bases from the Chinese were
yeah,
so bad. Like I couldn't believe they didn't have anything else. They only prepped this type of bases, and yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. You can't
it
do
felt like
that.
those were like the legend style bases from 2 to 3 seasons ago, where
Yeah,
people found like out, hey, we have to put storages somewhere different so we can trap the Fox. And so they just put off the storages to the outside. But at the same time, it's important to put storages in some positions to, yeah.
yeah.
I
I
mean, it
don't.
is not easy. I guess that's just why even pros are struggling with it on the defensive side. But it kind of showcased of like what the flaw is. And in the end, it was just a time fair, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it was a big time fail. Like also because the king was kind of baited, but yeah. I mean, Tribe struggled a lot against these types of bases, but overall, I have to say, if you look at some attacks we did against it, like the Root Riders, you can just spam it in. The problem is there are too many defenses too close by each other,
Mm.
and that makes Royal Champion charges strong, that makes Root Riders very easy. And for me, it's like if you want to defend a Royal Champion charge, then you can't have just one string or one ring of defenses around the base. Uh, because it's very easy to redirect the RC in whichever direction you want her to go with that. You really need like 2 layers of defenses on each side so the RC can step out somewhere if you don't funnel that out. So I feel like that's what these bases are missing. And yeah, this attack right here, I think most people were like not expecting it to do well, but I said like if they get like the scatter with the fireball, which they obviously missed, then this attack is, yeah, has a good chance of tripling as well. I really thought the plans were not the issue for the Chinese there.
Yeah, they did some uncharacteristic mistakes, I assume. Like mistakes sometimes on execution, sometimes with like strategy and equipment choices.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
obviously they had like a game plan using all the hog puppet, and it was like not debatable for them, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, sometimes I would love to hear as well their thoughts on like, okay, why do you feel like Hog Rider Puppet is the number one choice for your strategy?
Yeah, for sure. And also this attack, like I said, if you take out the scatter there, and if you play your lock launcher a bit better, then I think it's a big triple. Like if you look at these bases, there is like everything at the top, a lot in the middle, and pretty much nothing around the town hall. So if you get like through the top and the middle pretty easily and have something left, then yeah, it's an easy 3-star. But yeah, you have to open the walls if you don't have a jump and your king in the middle. So that's kind of how it goes then, I guess.
Yeah.
Big defense.
Yeah, this was like kind of where the match was pretty much over and was freaking boring. That is,
Yeah,
that's what commentating cast and everything.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
We can
it
like,
wasn't really that over, but like after like 1 or 2 attacks more, it was like okay, whatever.
yeah. Oh wait, I think Kronos.
Yeah, the
What did he
fireball,
do?
the fireball.
I think the warden died there, what we have just seen, right?
Um,
But
I
yeah, this
think
is again this is again a base which you could see easily in Legends 10 out of 10 times. Like you wouldn't be surprised to
yeah,
see that
yeah.
in Legends.
But this base is better than the others because, like I said, you don't have like one big string of defenses around the town. Or there are like some defenses pushed out in the outer rings, so you have like some randomness to your RC charge. So it's not that easy to go around and take out the town hall there. I feel like so. I'm not surprised that this base defended better than the other ones. But also,
Yeah.
having the reachable scatter there is too funny to me. Like bringing a base to words and don't even recognize that. But I guess it happens. It happens to the best. I mean, we had also a big, like sometimes we have something which we miss. So yeah, just kind of funny that they have it still in there.
I'm just looking now how the warden died because he did a really good job keeping like overall Kronos. I mean, in general, some of the players, like you mentioned yourself, you had an insane run with your attacks and like really glow up when it comes down to like showing up when it matters. And I think for me, you and Kronos were the two players who really, really stepped up compared to the performances from the qualifiers, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that was pretty insane as well. Him bringing the 9 healer charge. I tried that in Legends. I should have not done it. It's so hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. But I have to say, I mean, we kind of prepped something similar, like not with the healers. I mean, that's like a crazy job on his part for sure. But overall, I have to say, like Fireball, you don't need much value with Fireball. As long as the Water Walk is free afterwards, you can triple basically any base. And a lot of people don't build against Warden Walks as much. So, like, if you want to defend a Warden Walk, you basically have a connection between an X-Bow and a key defense, which does like a cannon or like a archer tower or whatever. So you force out a spell out of the warden. If you don't have that on one side of the base, then you can just let your warden do its thing like 3 minutes, and then you sui out the rest of the base, and that's very approachable on a lot of bases. I feel like, but yeah, like doing it. Obviously, you've seen a lot of fireball phase. Like there's such just so much that can go wrong compared to other attacks. You have the fireball, you have the warded walk, you have the sui afterwards. Like yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can go very wrong, and that's why it's really impressive how people pull it off. Uh, yeah,
This is
huge
where we see
congrats
one
for
of
him.
those nice baits
Yeah,
with the spring traps. That was such a nice bait.
I mean this would have been an triple if there are no traps. Like look at how many he did. Like two redirect invis to get the RC to the core, and still got the monolith and the multi out there. So yeah, without the
Yeah.
traps,
But I mean, if that was like like this is always the like the fine balance, right? Versus with kind of like giving someone value but not making it too obvious, so people are taking it and then trapping that entry. And I feel like that was really nicely done here for Tribe with the spring trap and everything, tornado and so on.
yeah. Yeah, that's always the hard part. You never really know when to expect which approach. For example, we talked to Tribe and they said like they probably prepped like a lot of RC charges and long RC charges, and you've seen that as well with dragons, also with root riders. And before we went
Mm.
into words, we basically said anybody who's playing long RC charges is really dumb to do that because it's such a risky strategy and you can get baited so hard. And yeah, and it's like the different views in preparing for the tournament. So some of our bases got wrecked because we didn't really consider it. I mean, we tested it a little bit, but yeah, as you can see, Tribe prepared it on offense, so they also defended it on defense, and it worked out in this base as well. And you only
Mm.
put the traps there if you expect exactly this RC charge for the base. So yeah, really well done on their part for sure.
Yeah, it's I mean, always trying to get into the head of your opponents, right? Where it's even if you yourself might not think it's strong, but if you see the other team has played it in the past and might bring it up again, just trying to bait against it, which is to me like really the cool thing about Worlds, which I feel like a lot of people do not really appreciate, which is this scouting phase where you really try to get into the head of your opponents of playing specific strategies, defending specific strategies, and so on. So yeah, that is, I don't know. I feel like that's really underappreciated by a lot of viewers, where they're just seeing maybe only failed, only 3 stars. That was easy, not easy. But yeah,
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. I don't think we did too much of a good job this year, like scouting on defense. We could have done probably a lot of better. But yeah, overall it makes such a huge difference. Like I said, and I still believe it. I don't think I played good attacks in these words. I just played the attacks where I knew they would work because probably nobody defended them, and yeah, that's basically the whole magic behind it. It's not like I did like a crazy insane stuff that I did better than anybody else. It's just like, okay, I did something good and prepared well and did something the others didn't expect from us, probably, and that's why there were no traps against it. And if you play a good hit where you know the strategy is good and there are no traps against it, then yeah, you don't have like that big of an issue to triple. And as you can see, the other way around, if you run into traps with your attack and it is predicted very well and the base is good, then you have nearly no chance of saving your attack to a 3 star. So there's like two sides of the coin. And yeah, for sure, it makes a huge difference preparing and finding out the tendencies of your opponent. But as well as you have teams like the Chinese, for example, you never know what they will do in Worlds. They could have come up with, I don't know, Super Dragons, E-Dragons, or whatever, and nobody would have been surprised. So,
yeah. I mean, I've been like playing around with the different approaches. And do you remember the Nikita E-Dragon, like Electro Dragon style, with like the surgical Electro
yeah,
Dragon doing an Electro Dragon kill squad and
we
like
tried that
sniping things with the
we
Rocket
tried that
Duans?
as well,
I
yeah.
tried. You tried that as well because I
Yeah.
did some friendly challenges now on Town 17 with that, and it worked surprisingly well. I was really surprised on how well it did when there was value for the first initial Electro Dragon push.
Yes. That's the big part. You need to take out, like, what he did mostly was like take out with raged E-Dragons like ADs and an Expo to set up a Flame Flinger or whatever. And I feel like if that's a given, then the strategy can work well. But if you have like a base where the ADs are like well protected and a bit on the outside as well, then you don't have any chance with your E-Dragons. If the first chain doesn't get the AD, what will your E-Dragon do at this corner, basically? So yeah, I think
Yep,
Philip
that's
tried it a
true.
lot. Before I was like, okay, we have to look into that because the one guy had like what 80% hit rate with it from the Chinese. I don't know, the guy that always played it, and yeah, I was like, we have to try that out, and Philip was like, no, I will not do that. It's way too inconsistent to pull that off. So yeah, and I feel like yeah, the attacks we are doing right here, you can see why the bases from the Chinese are not that great. I don't even think it's like yeah, it's a basic approach like getting out one corner, using the troops on the besides that and just pushing around there. And yeah, he wanted to take out the Towner with his Yetis there, but the lock launcher didn't open the wall, and it wasn't even a problem because yeah, the Root Riders pathed naturally to the Towner, which is like just not well built overall. I don't know.
I feel like if you're relying on this ring, you cannot have it interrupted anywhere.
Yeah,
Like, for example, where his troops are right now, the gap, was it 4 non-defensive tiles, which means yeah, he had the natural pathing into the core. So, but
exactly.
again, this is where I feel like so many people as well. Like, this is one of the reasons why I think so many people are struggling with base building, because it's just so much knowledge about that, and I feel like a lot of people don't really know what it's coming down to, which is then yeah, interesting, because so many people I see is always, oh, I'm attacking so well, but they forget that it should be kind of 50-50, right? Like offense, defense in the game.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I feel like on that note, I feel like we had a good World Championship as well. Like we had good defensive performances, we had good offensive performances. I feel like there was a good balance. It was like you were like valued if you did good defense, but it also was valued if you did good offense. So I feel like on that part, the World Championship this year was very nice balanced. I have to say, I didn't expect that
Yeah,
before.
yeah, no, I agree. I think balance wise, it was really good. I think viewing experience wise, I personally would have not minded if it's like on average 1 star more. Um, but the way it was completely fine as well. Would have been like more like complaining on the highest level, I assume. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel
overall,
like, yeah, that is for sure true. The first day like also bumped down the numbers. And as you talked about the anti two bases, since you can see we had some prepped as well. I tried around it with it in the August qualifier before, and what I noticed is that if you want to use anti two bases, you have to need the double ring of walls into the core. If you don't have that, the base are will not work well, in my opinion. You just have to have the walls there that even if the root riders open like a wall or two, that you don't open up the whole core. And that was the huge issue with a lot of anti two bases, in my opinion.
oh, I
Which,
think this was one of the attacks where I was
yeah,
freaking out because of this
yeah, for sure.
this
This
stupid
one,
hot water puppet.
this one was, it was all the attacks on this war from the Chinese.
Like
Like,
at this point, you say like, oh yeah, this is going to be an easy triple, right? Like he says the Royal Champ equipment. He still has a wall break. He has
yes,
the fire mites coming in from the top right. Hey, this is an easy triple. Then I think any second he's going to check the equipment from the Royal Champ. Come on, click on it. Okay, never mind. Not clicking on it, but
yeah.
still having to pop it. Giga bomb. It's like this one. Why? I don't like. This is planning, right? Like he knew that he would end in this compartment,
No, I
but
don't think
why
that's
would you
planning,
pick
to be
like?
honest. As I mean, yes, you knew he would finish there, but you don't know which troops will end there. Like, but yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think the spear is better, obviously, in that regard. But like I said, you don't know sometimes what they are thinking. I believe it has to do something like with, okay, I'm doing the smash, I'm just sending the RC at the side, and I don't want her to die early. And if the RC doesn't die early, I always have a chance at the triple. But obviously, in this case, how the attack ended, the spear would have been for sure the better answer. But also, funnily enough, like this base was also very good in testing. Obviously, we used it, and I tried Smash as well, and we always did it from the bottom side. And yeah, we had to bait like the flame flinger like on the sides because of it. If the flame flinger was not baited, then the smash into the bottom side would have been an easy triple. And the smash from the top side always looked exactly like he did it, and everything dying in the 6 o'clock compartment for some reason. But oh yeah, I mean, it could have tripled for sure. That's true.
Yeah, this is the attack I remembered where I was like, when Carbon started to call out like on the last day, oh, they were saving and holding back the Zap earthquake strategy. I was
Yes.
like, am I complete like? Is my base memory and like overall collection memory completely freaking me out and like tricking me because I remember them playing it already.
Yes.
So yeah,
Everybody was freaking out because we only did it like once a war. Like Philip did it against Elevate in the first war, and Emir did it here as well. So yeah, it was like not that we did hide it at all. That was not the strategy, but it came across like this. That was very funny, I have to
I mean,
say.
in the end, to be honest, we just went with it because it was just nice
Yeah, yeah, better
storytelling wise,
story.
right? Like it
For
was
sure.
like kind of cool to hype up. But yeah, like the overall stereotype of like holding back the strategy as well, it would make no sense, right?
Yes.
Because at least when you're dropping down to the lower bracket, that would be the latest moment where you have to use it. And this year is lower bracket. So holding back a strategy where you're that confident that you would win, I mean, that would be mental. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like being afraid that other people would use it on your basis when we obviously have also tested it against this approach and we knew, okay, it will be very strong, but not all bases have an issue with it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad that it turned out this way since nobody seemed to picked it up for the last day. So that's, I guess, better for us. But yeah, as you said, there was like no intention at all to hold it back. it was just like, okay, there were not the right basis for the approaches most of the time, and we were like not that confident with it. But in perspective, we probably should have forced it a little more, since it's just such a good approach, because you can avoid like a couple of traps sometimes, and you set up the root riders just so well on most cases.
Yeah. Like, especially I feel like every base right now, if you want to have even the slightest chance of defending versus root riders, you need to have some type of donut, which means like those ring styles,
Yes, for
which you
sure.
can have with the isolated town hall, but you can have as well defenses there, and you can have as well multiple rings within one base. But if you have this one stack in the core, which is not the town hall, this is kind of where then your approach with the lightnings and giant arrow came in, which yeah, people like especially Elevate did not really have on their plan going into
Yeah, yeah.
into the last match.
I mean, yeah, I don't know why we didn't play it as much in the first war. I think I talked Emir out of one hit, which Leo did in the second war against Elevate because they used the basic as well. So that's kind of on me. And Philip did it in the last attack against them, but nobody seemed to care because the war was already over. So yeah, that was a huge thing. And also this base as well. It was so funny. This was like the worst base I built at the beginning. Like it was just okay. I wanted to do something different, and the base looked as awful as it could get. They said like you can always do a discharge into the cannon because it's like a straight path. And I just put like more key defenses there, and we trapped it like full at both sides. And everybody seemed to get into there, and it like a big fail because the RC is like hard trapped there. And as you can see, it like no spells left at all, and he didn't get anything out with Sassy. It was so funny to me that they really did that. I don't know. Was very happy that the base worked well.
Yeah, it kind of feels like in the early stages of the tournament, it is better or
Oh, one
more
second. Oh,
acceptable.
Susie,
Yeah.
thank you for the rate. I haven't even noticed. I'm sorry. Welcome in, guys. A watch party. Yeah,
Professional streamer.
yeah. Professional streamer, as you can imagine. No, not really a watch party. We just wanted to talk about words a little bit, maybe a bit behind the scenes, give some input. Maybe, yeah. If you're interested in that, you can stick around. I haven't really paid much attention to the chat yet. Maybe we'll do that like at the end, probably. So yeah, I hope it's still interesting. And yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No, good, good. I mean, if there are questions in the chat, I have right now at least your YouTube chat and my chat open.
Okay,
If
okay.
there are any good questions, we can like try to sprinkle them in.
Yeah, for sure.
But if it's just like hi ITZU, hi Generx or something like that, then obviously we won't put it in there. I mean, no offense here, but yeah, I hope you understand.
All good.
No, it's not reported ITZU on Tana 18. I'm not having any plans of coming
Yeah,
back. I'm
maybe,
sorry.
maybe. I was thinking like
Stop
hearing
it.
a lot of
No.
trade rumors and stuff already. I was like, man, why nobody has really considered getting Itsu back for 1 year? Like having to farm content out of it, and maybe there would have been a chance. Like, why not?
I mean, I would feel honored, not gonna lie, but at the same time, yeah, it's just business wise, let's put it that way,
Yeah,
so
yeah, for
much
sure.
easier
I
of
mean, I
like,
know
yeah.
your like your argument about it, and I understand it for sure. Like for me, for example, everybody was like wondering why I didn't do any YouTube videos the last 8 months, and I was like, okay, I want to focus fully on that one thing, and the other thing I probably could have squeezed in a little YouTube in between, but yeah, it's just like if you want to do really good on one thing, you only have to focus on that. So it's really hard to do two things on a top level. So totally understand that.
Yeah, but to me as well, a really big issue is that if you're doing like as you do, like if you're doing base content explaining base building, or for example, strategy guides explaining how you approach bases, you are literally giving the other teams for their analysts like a how to bait myself, or on the other side, you're literally lying to your viewers, which in the end I went with for some time. when I was back in Tribe, on like these days, where I had to initially I had to say, oh, by the way, this is super bad, don't use it. And I was thinking like, oh, this is so freaking stupid strong, like it is so busted. But I couldn't say that because then like everyone would know that I want to like use it, take advantage, and so on, right? So yeah, this to me is like the biggest issue where
Yeah,
it's
I
I don't
get
know,
that. It's hard
tricky.
to work around. It's always when people ask me about do a base building guide and do this and do that. I was like, I would love to do that to keep people coming for that. But firstly, the demand is not really there for it. Like there's only a couple
Yeah.
of people, and second, like the only reason why we keep getting on top all the time is because we are that much in front of preparation wise, base building wise than other teams. Like if you give that away for free, then yeah, you give away like the advantage you built up basically like 2 to 3 years. So yeah, it's really hard. But on the other hand, I have to say like like with so many teams like falling apart and even more players retiring for the next year, even if you are in a semi-competitive team and you put in a little bit of effort, I think if you're a good player and have a good team, then you would have had a chance or at least a shot at the Worlds for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like obviously, like no offense at all, like MMG, but they literally showcase that as a newcomer, you can make it to the further stage, right? Like you need to
Yeah,
have one good qualifier or just be consistent over the year. Never really make it to the top three, maybe, but like always get those points in. Like for example, what Navi did. So there's many ways of qualifying in the end, and yeah,
yeah, but also I
this
have
was
to,
kind of funny, by the way, as I'm
yeah.
watching this, sorry. But like with the NATO on the outside, as you were rerunning that base, that was so funny. Like seeing that they used a couple of rooms to trigger the tornado.
But it's actually a different base, and we did the same bait on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it was in
But
the
I just
first
remember
war
the
against Cam.
outside
Yeah, yeah,
tornado
yeah.
trap
I
bait.
know. Also, when I had these two NATOs, I was like, do we really want to do that? Do I have to put it somewhere else or not? But I was like, okay, just stick with it. Stick with it. If they try to do the easy RC charge, they are like fucked beyond. And yeah, in the end, nobody did it. That's the game you have to play sometimes. But yeah, for sure. Also, like adding to MMG, I feel like obviously like from the performance they had, they could have been out, they could have been not, and whatever. But I feel like it is really underestimated how well they did throughout the year. I think they were like one of the best teams throughout the year, like qualifying wise, behind Dizzy and maybe Tribe. They qualified for every qualifier, I feel like, and they got like disqualified for 2 or 3 of them. So I feel like consistency wise, they yeah, were like well deserved at the World Championships this year, and as they proved. Obviously, it's more about their preparation and like defenses that were pretty good, and not so much about their offense. Like besides from Nes4X, obviously, but no discredit to anyone. It's just like how I felt like watching the team qualify and how they performed at Worlds as well. So
Yeah. But I mean, even if you have a star player, you need to be able to be capable of playing around him. I
yes,
mean, so
that's for
yeah,
sure. I
it's still
mean,
a team effort in the end.
yeah, they did the best they could, like for what they had to play with, and for sure they did it as a team and not a single player. That's also some people tend to forget that. Even if you win every war 11-11 because your star player is always tripling at the end, if you don't defend 11 stars in the first place, then it doesn't matter, kind of. So yeah, for sure it is a team effort. Like if you are alone on a team, like only playing good, then yeah, you will struggle eventually. That is for sure.
This is, I feel like, where it's really tricky. And I don't know if you have the same, but I have so many questions of like, ITZU, who do you think is right now the best player? And this question is, I feel like, one of the most common ones out there. And I feel like it's so hard to answer because how do you answer this question when there are, in theory, so many things depending on it, which means, do you mean offense? Do you mean defense? Maybe the player is getting set up by the team, which means they can always pick first, can
Yes.
attack in a less stressful attack position, and so on. So I feel like that question is so tricky. But if you would need to answer that question, which means first off, how would you see who is the best player? Like, how would you put the criteria, and who would you think is right now the best? Obviously, you can put yourself,
Yeah,
or just say,
no.
if you exclude yourself, who would you pick up? Like, would say top.
It's a funny thing because for me, I always said I'm not on the same level as most of the good players. And even if I did very well at words, if you look at my attacks, there were execution mistakes. I did a couple major things wrong that could have cost me attacks. So I never considered myself like a premier attacker for sure. And I'm pretty sure if people talk about the best player, they mostly talk about the offensive part, like because defense is not on their minds all the time, and the offense is what you see. So I'm pretty sure that's what you have to consider, what I would consider if you talk about the best player, because base building is not really playing. That's for sure like one of the most underappreciated and most important things about like good championship runs. But if you're talking solely about the player, like playing, I would say I would more consider the offense there. But obviously you can do both. I mean, you can say like most well-rounded player or whatever. That is a different argument. But yeah, talking about this, long talk short, I feel like the same. It's very hard to pick out one, as there are many like factors moving in. I mean, for this year, I mean, I have to say, like 2023, for example, I was like, okay, the best player for sure, there's only one answer, and it's Picastro. Like, he did basically only triples in the hardest meta we ever had. He did always the first attack. He did different strategies in the first attack, so that's like, it was crazy to me what he did there and what level. This year probably has to go for kind of similar reasons to Max. I feel like he came in like from not really playing into one of the better teams, instantly became the best player there. They, if you remember when they qualified, he did like Batzinger used 3 times the same base, and he did like the first attack because he had a good idea, and everybody else copied it from the Brazilians, and that's why they won against them. And yeah, I feel like he can do a lot of different stuff. He for meta wise this year, although probably some other teams had similar ideas, he was the main reason the meta shifted forwards in the middle part of the year, like bringing in the rage gem on the warden, mixing in heal spells, for example. I feel like he was a big driving factor to get that moving forward. So yeah, I feel like he was very, very impressive, also hit rate wise, and what he did, like not having as much support as other people, also having on his team, like not talking to your team is actually quite. I don't know how people do that. I have to say, the people that went to Navi and played there for 1 year or whatever, I don't know how you do that. I would go mad. Yeah, so yeah. I would say Max. A strong candidate for me also is Nes4X and Darkstar. Nes4X, not. It's very hard, but for me it's very impressive if you are the last attacker and always have to triple and do it, because you always have the hardest base potentially, which is left over. So you have to be very, very versatile, which means you are like you practiced more. You have to put in more time to be more versatile. So that's also very impressive. And execution wise, would say Darkstar, because what fireballs he did and on what level he did was also very insane. But yeah, that's probably the big three for me for this year, if I have to pick one. Not a special answer, but I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think as well. Like, I mean, it's always kind of funny because first, whenever you're having this answer, like this question in your chat, you have to like explain how do you identify the best player. Is it the most well-rounded, or as you said, the best on offense? Then it's not really as easy, as players are having ups and downs, right? And then like different attack positions. So it is such a complex answer, even though the answer itself on the first level looks so easy. Like, just tell me who's the best player right now. It's easy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so
but that's like for every sports out there. Like, if you look at the American sports, they love to talk about who's the best player right now, who was the best player of all time, and stuff like this. just how sports go, I guess. You just want to have something to talk about, and I feel like it's fine. That makes it interesting. That makes it funny for the players and for the viewers. So, but obviously it's not easy to answer. But I feel like it's not about the answer in itself, but like the process, like talking about it. Like you have the same interest. You want to talk about it. You propose a question. You like kind of want to make a conversation out of it. And for me, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, for myself, I have to say I'm glad that we still have an audience and that people are interested in our game. And as long as that's the case, I'm very glad. And yeah, even if some questions are sometimes not the smartest ones, everything is
That's such a nice way of putting it.
yeah, but I mean it is like it is. But you can watch on TV. People have dumb ideas or dumb takes on stuff. It happens all the time, but it's not like discredit them in any part. It's just like how the game goes, and I feel like as long as we are talking about it, it keeps being interesting. On the same note, being
No, no, no.
interesting, I have my boy Style coming over. Hello, guys. Buenos dias or buenos noches. Welcome in, my Spanish friends. How are you doing? I'm glad everybody's coming here, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. And yeah, what would your big three be, or what are criterias you look forward the most when you decide like what's the best player, like for you personally?
I mean, I would like to go based on offense and defense, but at the same time, it's really hard to do because you do not have the insights on who is building which base, on how much input do they have on each base. So, as you said earlier, I feel like it is just the easiest and most realistic to just go based on offense. And I would be 100% with you that on a consistency level, Max was the best player over the entire year. And as well, how he was trying to be one step ahead of the curve when it comes down to meta, where you said, hey, he got some really cool ideas over the year where he brought the healing tone with Rage Gem and such. So, yeah, I fully agree there. I think that Darkstar is more creative attacker for sure has to be in there as well. So, overall, I completely agree with your top three, or overall
Yeah.
um your mentioned players.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you can talk a lot about it a lot, but in the end, if you look at the hit rates, it probably comes down to some names like in the top 10 over there, and I feel like for this year, it's no different. But yeah, you are right. It's you the people like in front. That's why also we are doing this right now. Don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. For example, if you talk to the guys at Worlds, you get to know a lot of stuff. And Max and Ghost did a lot of preparation for the Brazilian guys as well. So that's like a huge impact that they had as well there. And the same goes for Darkstar. He is like a high motor guy, from what I heard. Played or like tested a lot of bases, and that's also worth a lot for your team if you have somebody in there as well. So yeah, that's also obviously not something you can judge from the outside, but like considering that in, they are for sure very good candidates this year. Also with Elevate being like the best team over the whole year, like besides Worlds, and even if you include Worlds, probably they still are the best team this year. So yeah, I guess that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, now the first questions are coming in about roster changes.
The roster
I,
changes. Yeah, we will see when they get announced. I don't know either what will be changed.
uh,
That's
that's sneaky.
yeah, yeah,
They're
for sure.
trying to get their information.
I mean, as soon as something will be announced, the people will know. But at a point like this, not even 1 week behind words, it's like hard to know what actually will happen. There's a lot of movement going on behind the scenes, I have to say. So yeah, we will see
Yeah.
how it
I mean,
turns out.
I mean, I have heard some rumors, right? So I,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
won't talk about them to be honest, because I had the pleasure of uh, being in the what is it, the plane bus, whatever, like this bus where you're getting driven from what is it, the plane to the
Yeah, yeah.
airport. I was sitting with Philip, so we had some nice talks.
I see, I see. So you probably know
So
more than other people.
yeah, in general, I mean, I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
received some snips here and there,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
Obviously, people want to talk to
there will
you.
be some
What to do?
interesting announcements, that's for sure. And I
Yeah,
feel like that's always the cool thing as well. Then about
yeah,
some roster changes, teams shake-ups, but at the same time, um, it would be as well always nice to like have a better understanding on why certain changes are made. I mean, you said it already, like Max, for example, with Elevate, and that it's really tricky for people if you cannot really speak the language on like how does it work. So like that is obviously a big question mark. Then with like Navi, are they like going to stick together? Is Navi as an organization going to stick around, for
yes,
example? So
yes.
there's in general many questions after this year's Worlds, but yeah,
It's
they will be
also
announced at some point.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I also think it's kind of interesting that we had like different years. For example, I felt like 2023 there was like a lot of movement before, and then 2024 there happened like nearly nothing. I felt like it was very interesting. We had like some years where it happened a lot, and then we had like some years where nearly nothing happened. Like in the big teams, only like one player in, one player out. And then sometimes you have like whole teams breaking apart, and then everything is switching around. Basically, no team is as it was before. So yeah, I also like from a neutral perspective, like kind of oddly talking about it or yeah, waiting until the rosters get announced. I feel like it's very interesting. So for sure, very also suspenseful part of the season. Maybe the most important part of the season or of the next season is right now at this moment. So yeah, that's also something that tends to get forgot by people sometimes.
Yeah, I mean there are many question marks. I feel like for the teams who as well made it to Worlds. Then as well with some rumors about some people retiring. And I
Yes.
feel like it is always kind of tricky of new players coming in and filling those spots because if you're completely honest, and even if some people are like pretending that, oh yeah, if I would have a max account I could easily compete with those guys. No, you take like it takes years and years of experience, and there is a reason why it's typically always the same players or the same teams at the top because they are around already for so long, and it really happens on a really rare basis that a new player is coming out of nowhere, where it's
Yes.
more like people who are around the scene already for a long time are then filling in those shoes from the old veterans who are then retiring.
Yeah. But as well, on the same note, we have like mostly like one team or one player that emerges like out of nowhere, basically from nobody has ever noticed them and then stepping into the big scene. This year for sure there was MMG with Nes4X. Then we had like Darkstar 2 years ago. Then we had Temper 2 years ago as well. I feel like there were a lot of people that stepped in that nobody really paid attention before. So it's not impossible, but as you said, it's not like they haven't played the game before, then they started and came in. It's like they sticked around for a couple of years playing in different teams, and then they had the shot at yeah, getting into a bigger team and made their yeah, their move or their presence felt. So you have to
Yeah,
take
I
advantage
mean,
of the opportunities you get. So that's for sure.
and as you're talking again about Darkstar, if I just like remember of highlights from the US World or like from this World Championship, which was more about the event, I think one of the highlights for sure was for me, where I talked with Darkstar, and he told me that actually my videos got him into esports and like committing to this entire structure of playing the game. And I mean, that was one of the most proudest things. Like that, one of the best players right now in the entire world is like got into like esports, and like got interested with like watching my videos. I mean, I felt so freaking proud. That was unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah,
that to me, I still remember that. Yeah, that was to me from one of the highlights of the events. And I
I
mean,
can
that
imagine that.
was
I mean,
yeah,
for
that
sure.
was kind of cool as well for me, a fanboy moment.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of pros that grew up watching some kind of videos. You have to get to know the scene. that's why it's also like very hard for me that like competitive videos like don't do as much or as good as other videos on YouTube, because they tend to be a big part of your or other people's content, I felt like. And I remember back then, like way back then, I also had my fanboy moments when I watched Tribe or whatever, or alternates at your channel. So it's not like
Mm.
people are coming from nowhere, and there are like limited resources to watch. So yeah, I feel like you probably influenced more people than you think you have in the past. So that's for sure. Like, yeah, it's not coming from nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this is always one thing of like approaching it kind of with this logical thought of, hey, there's limited resources, so I feel like Carbon or myself or back in the day Power Bang. I mean, a lot of the pros from back then got maybe into the scene with watching their videos, but at the same time, hearing that from someone person to person, face to face, is just again like a whole different
Yeah.
story, and especially with such a good player like Dogstar. I mean, you said like he's for you top three player in the world, so hearing that from a player like that, I mean, that is special. So yeah, I mean, that was just one of my highlights. And as I was talking about that, what was for you off stage? Okay, I mean, like having the stage experience again, like going
Mm.
crazy over there, is like for sure, I would assume one of your highlights. But if you're talking about the event overall, is it like what was for you maybe not maybe the top, like at least one of the highlights you could think of right now?
Oh, it's very hard for me this year, because every year I was at Worlds, I made like one or two more friends in the community scene or in the competitive scene. And this year it was like most people I have talked to, they already knew me, and I already talked to them, and we already kind of are on a friendly basis. So it's not that I can say, for example, 2 years ago I got along pretty well with Picastro and with Zatans and with the Brazilian guys, and uh, since everybody seemed to avoid them all the time because they can't really speak English, I was like kind of proud that I just stuck around and made a conversation with them. And that kept to this day. I still talk to them sometimes, and I feel like they are very nice guys overall. And yeah, last year obviously a whole different experience, and this year it's a good question. I feel like same thing like you said before. At Words, the 2 years ago there was like not much. 3 years ago there was also not much. Last year there was like some people coming up to me, but mostly out of like people that I actually knew, like which I have talked to. And this year there were a lot of people which I have never seen before, which wanted to talk, which wanted to have a quick chat or wanted to take a photo. And I feel like, I don't know. That's kind of the other part of the fanboy experience, is like the celebrity experience, if I have to quote it like that. I don't know. I kind of feel it's very funny, and I feel very honored to be in a position like that, that people just enjoy what we are doing and want to talk to me and take a photo with me. I feel like that's a very nice thing to have, and yeah, I enjoy it quite a lot. I have to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. It was as well a really big pleasure of having some people like asking for photos and such, especially because I was really surprised by the amount. Because whenever I feel like, or like when I think about my content, I feel it is why should someone, especially like American, watch me who is like not super fluent maybe with English and such. It's typically a lot of Indians on the YouTube channel.
Hmm?
So then being on an event in America and having so many people approaching you, that was just really special. And as you said, it just makes you appreciate it even more, something which you're doing every day if you're a player or a content creator. Because when we're doing that, we typically do that in front of our devices, PC, whatever. And it is always hard to then say, hey, we have so many people who like what we're doing because you don't really see them. I mean, that's really hard to imagine sometimes on like
Yeah.
how many people you can influence in obviously good, bad,
Yeah, or
different ways in
whatever. Yeah,
general.
yeah,
So
for
yeah.
sure. Like that you peak emotion out of the people. That's for sure. I mean, I'm on YouTube quite a lot, and yeah, I feel like a lot of YouTubers talk about the same thing, that you always see like the numbers growing bigger and bigger or lesser and lesser, whatever it may be for you at the moment. But having actually the connection to people out there is such a unique and nice experience to have, and yeah, I for sure agree. It makes you even more motivated to do your best in the future, and yeah, I really like that as well. Also, probably because we're in America, there are like more people which are more outgoing and trying to talk to you, not sneaking around. So I guess that maybe is also a part of it. That more people coming up.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's such a nice thing. I saw a couple of questions in the chat. I don't know if I mean, we already talked about the Chinese team. Somebody talked about the bases. I felt like the bases are a good shot. I mean, we use some similar bases, but to prepare only one type of base for the World Championship is just like not good preparation at all. So I feel like the mistake was made there, if that answers your question on this part. Uh, what do we have? Oh, also very good question. Was 2025 World better than 2024 Worlds? I mean, you would probably assume that I said we won it last year, that last year was the best Worlds ever. And for some part, I have to agree. Obviously, because we won Worlds, like the stage and the experience there was by far the best we ever had. But from what, like how Worlds went this year, like getting back to 8 teams, like how the finals went and how the whole experience was and with the crowds, I feel like this year is for sure my most favorite year so far, getting to Worlds, even though we didn't win it. But I don't think that should influence the question. But yeah, I don't know, you were like to a couple more World Championships than I am probably, so what's your opinion about it?
I mean, the first 2019 was kind of special, but at the same time, I feel like it was just a different time as well. So
Yeah.
I would agree that last year was really cool, but again, it kind of feels like the who's the best player thing because there's so many different things. Like organization wise,
Mm.
this year was not the greatest. Then show wise, this year was really epic with the audience and everything. I think from player or cast perspective, everything went really well. So I would agree that it was for sure the or one of the best. But as I said, just again watching the fireball here, Darkstar, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, like talking about the stage, I feel like last year was the best stage, while 2023, I believe it was, where the entire arena was then the best, which was like the more clashy theme with Clash Royale and everything. So
No,
those would be my
wasn't
rankings. I know
2023
it's
was
really
the black
complex
and
to answer,
white
but yeah.
thing, right? It was 2022 was the Clash of Clans themed.
What was it, 2022?
Yeah,
Okay,
for
then what's
sure.
but like what I mean was like the two different hills or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
like
the
which
all
were the
green and all wood,
arena.
like what they still built when we arrived there and everything. That
Yeah.
was 2022. 2023 was when everybody
Okay.
was very like disappointed is the word, because it was just like big black and white, like nothing special, and the whole thing that was like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then so best show and everything has to be this year, 2025. The best stage for the players was 2024, with like being in the middle, surrounded by the crowd, and the best arena theme wise was 2022.
Yeah. I agree. Probably. I have to say, last year is out for me just because we only had 6 teams and the whole format was ass. I don't think it was
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah, and that's also the reason why I feel like, even though we won it last year and we are very proud of it, you can be. I tend to say can be more proud of what we achieved this year than last year, just because how different it went and how the like you the path to the crown is very different in the tournament wise. So yeah, I don't know. We probably could agree for both, but yeah, I hope we will still have 8 teams next year, and we'll keep with that the following years as well. It just makes the way more interesting approach for the whole finals, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. And Philip said the best food was this year. And Itzu just
Nah,
said before at the beginning he hated the food so much he only went outside to go eat somewhere else.
nah. Philip is coping. No, 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 no.
No, he said the same there.
I saw it. He is. He is. Maybe he ate too much food, and now he has food poisoning or something, and that's why he's saying it. Well, he was a paid actor. Now I use the argument everyone is putting against me that I'm getting paid by Superstar, and that's why I'm defending them. So now he got somehow paid. That's the only way of saying it. Whenever you have no argument, just say that like you're getting paid by someone. That's why your argument does not count. I take the YouTube comment approach, okay?
But yeah, I don't know about the other teams, but for us, we had like no big issue with the food. Like Einstein said it as well. So yeah, and I
What's
mean, Emil, you can get happy if you have chicken and rice or something with chicken. Then he doesn't really care about anything else. So he's not
okay?
not hard to please, I would say.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe the caster food wasn't on the same level as the
Where
player
did
food.
you eat?
Who knows?
Where didn't you were in the same booth as we were, or did you have a different
Yeah,
one?
no, we had the what was it? The staff catering. So there were two
Okay,
different caterings, one for the players and one for
I
the
see, I see.
staff, and we were part of the staff.
But feel like you had to have the same, right? I don't know.
I think it was the same, yeah. I don't know. Maybe we were just unlucky the first few days, and then we haven't tried again.
Yeah,
So
okay,
maybe they just
maybe.
I don't
I
know.
feel like that's fair. That's fair, for sure.
So yeah, so I cannot say that the food was bad over the entire event because we only did it for the first 1 or 2 days because then we just gave up and just went to the restaurant nonstop. But yeah,
But when you also have the time in the evening to go there, we are like, okay, yeah, we have to get everything ready, and then you tend to don't have like you don't want to have much time going away with food there. We were glad we can just take the food and then yeah, went inside our booth or our like little room again and finished the
that's
prep for the
fair.
next day. So I guess that makes a difference as well. Although I have to say,
That's really
like
fair, yeah.
preparation wise, this year compared to the last years, we did like nearly nothing at Worlds. Like also, like I said, because we didn't have much time this year, because we arrived very late. But I remember like last year from okay, maybe it's also depending because we only played day one last year, then we had free day two, and then we played day three, so we had like a lot of time which we could use. But this year we didn't do very much in between the days. It was like mostly okay, get yourself a good night of sleep, and it will probably be fine. The bases were tested before, so we will just run with it and don't change too much. Yeah, but
It sounded a good question what we actually had for catering. Sorry that I'm interrupting.
no, all good.
Um, but with uh, one big issue for us at least was a lot of time the food was just cold as well. So I think we had something like the first few days as well pork something with some potato, which more was like glue. But again, maybe it was just that the first day was just unlucky, so we had a really poor timing
Yeah,
of
maybe.
getting